it's such a beautiful thing to, to work so hard on something and see it come to life. It takes so long, from inception to now. So I can't wait for other people to see what we've seen. And there's so much talent in this movie. I'm over the moon about it. Can't wait. Suzanne Collins is probably the smartest person I've ever met in my life. Just a genius. And to be able to work with her, she wrote the lyrics, and I got to write the music and the melodies. And not only did I get a chance to work with her, but I learned so much about the whole Hunger Games universe, the behind the scenes of that. She has universes in her head, and it was mind-blowing to work with such a genius. And to watch Frances put her words to picture and Nina to all be involved and work as a team in Lionsgate, it was such a pleasure, the whole thing. We're really looking at the dystopian Appalachia, like between Scotland, Ireland, and North Carolina, really. It was scary to work so hard and spend so much energy on it. And you have such high expectations, but she exceeded it. She came in there and made us all look like pros. It was mind-blowing. Because it feels honest, When you watch Rachel sing in the film, she's really singing in the film. You work on pre-records, things like that, but she wanted to do it live, and she did it live. And you see a true star in the film, and I can't wait for fans to see her sing.
I'm very excited. This is always the sort of anxiety-ridden time for me, but I'm really proud of the movie, and I think people are going to really like it. When I first heard that Suzanne was writing another book, before I had read it, the most exciting thing was the idea that, I could work with Nina again and work with Suzanne again, and so that's just been wonderful. The cast is unbelievable. We took the sort of approach that was done on the original movies, which is to sort of cast kind of fresh faces up front for these leads, surround them with these amazing veteran legacy actors, and we really won out. Tom is he sent in an audition, blew everybody away. He's so talented. Rachel, first choice, wanted her, had seen her in West Side Story, an amazing actress and singer. Hunter, she plays the heart of the movie, and and she's got one of the biggest hearts that I know, and is so warm and endearing. Josh is just amazing, and then of course, Viola is one of the best actors on the planet of all time. She plays a very specific role that has a very specific sort of influence over young Coriolanus Snow, played by Tom Blyth, and part of my sort of pitch to her was that it's a very different kind of thing for Viola. I don't think she's ever really done anything like this, so it's really fun to work together, share a vision for a character, and get in there and create this character with her.
I'm so excited. The fan base around this franchise, and even this new book also, with these new younger fans coming in, is just enormous and passionate, and I hope seeing the movie will be really fulfilling for people who have been craving more from that world. I think we got really lucky in that there's a 64-year time jump, and I don't know, at least for me, in the pressure, I kind of was relieved that I don't know, the time jump gives us some creative liberty to create a different Tigris than the one that we met in the previous Hunger Games series. And someone who's kind of more grounded and untouched by Snow's tyranny and not body modified and stuff. So that's I don't know. It feels good to have the space. It's kind of my first big character piece that's not just a teenage girl who's kind of one or two steps away from who I am as a person. This really felt like I was playing a character, and it's a dystopian sci-fi world. It felt like I was acting, which was really fun, and I felt ready for that. Trish is amazing, and I think Trish had a lot of fun with it too. As far as I just remember her sourcing all of these buttons and belt buckles from these vintage places that all kind of emulated the time period, and it was pretty special.
I wanted to bring empathy as the key component for, I think, who Sejanus is. He really cares about his fellow man. He's originally from the districts, so I think his perspective on what it means to be at the reaping and to be selected is completely different from everybody else in the capital, all his peers. So he has this view on humanity and people's capacity to do good that I think is a little bit different than some other people that he knows. So I tried to approach it with that knowledge and build a disposition around that. As far as Peter, Viola, and Jason go, Jason Schwartzman, I was already really big fans of them, so I was trying to absorb as much of that as possible, maybe learn through osmosis or something like that. And then Tom and I got to hang out a lot during pre-production. Rachel's my girlfriend, so it was a really, really great support system that I think we all had. When I was filming it, I would come home with a lot of questions, kind of philosophically about, the human condition and humans' proclivity towards good or evil. Is that learned? Is that something that, happens with the environment that you're in? I think it's something that is really pulled back in this movie. When we talk about Coriolanus Snow, we all know where he ended up, so this is asking us how it happened. And it leaves just enough to the imagination where the audience can really ponder that after seeing the way the story plays out.
I'm so excited. I just can't wait for everyone to see it. We enjoyed making it so much, so I'm really psyched for everyone to see it. I play Coral from District 4, so that's the fishing district. She is fierce. She is a fierce competitor in the Hunger Games, and one to be watched. And I think that's all I can say right now. We had such a great cast, and I think, a lot of us, we were in Germany and Poland for like 5 months, so we really became a family. It was kind of like being at sleepaway camp. Like, everybody just got really close, and it was an incredible experience. And yeah, so many talented actors. Like, Hunter's amazing. Viola is like a master class in acting, so yeah.
I am beyond excited. You spend so much time living alone with your team and your movie, and when the moment at which you finally get to share it with everybody is thrilling. It was a great experience for us because we felt like we were getting to learn new things about the world that we didn't know, and then to imagine the world that gave rise to the one people recognized, to see how the games that we recognized we know from those earlier movies, how they came to be, how that spectacle was created, the role that Snow played in achieving it, seeing the origin for him as a character, and to see the evolution of the Capitol sort of after the war, and the reconstruction that gives rise to the glitz and glamour that we recognize, and to see it from a Capitol point of view instead of a district point of view was also a real challenge for us. Suzanne Collins writes these incredible, rich roles, and they are amazing showcases for young talent, and we hit the jackpot with our young talent. And then they are media enough, and there's enough depth and complexity that you're able to attract people who are on your bucket list. Viola, Peter, Jason, they're all like bucket list actors. And to see them together is amazing. And their performances, I think, will blow.
She's peppered her stories with the greatest names. Everybody has an incredible name. It's like, it reminds me of like Tennessee Williams, who always gave the greatest names to everybody. And then of course I could relate to the sort of the guy who invented something that he really didn't know what would happen with it. And then he has a moral core, so he's left with the guilt of creating something that sort of has been uncorked. You can have a lot of fun in Berlin, where we shot the movie, and working with actors like Tom Blyth is really fun. But I gotta always give all the credit to our director, Francis Lawrence. Every time I do a film, it's all about the director, and Francis is just a gem. They know what they're doing. They have experience, like we all do when we reach a certain age, and we've been doing it for a while. And Francis and all of them just have the whole movie mapped out when we were shooting, but then they're completely open. The greatest gift they have is they're completely open to new ideas, even though they have everything mapped out. They're just completely generous and open to like what you have to bring them, and surprised and encouraging. I've always wanted to work with her. We're sort of, I'm surprised, given our similar age difference, our ages, that we haven't yet. But it was a gift. She's a gift.
I've sung live in films before. I sang live in my first movie, West Side Story. So it really wasn't too strange of me to get to do that. It was my idea, and I was very thankful that my filmmakers had faith in me. I had to play guitar and sing live. And she has a country music career back in District 12. So getting to sing music like that was just a real honor, and I feel really blessed that I got to do it. They really lead by example. You get to learn by watching them. And something that I learned from Peter Dinklage is just the power of the text. There he is right there. Hi, Peter. Hey, I'm talking about you. And really getting just this, this different take from him every time, yet every take is brilliant and usable. And as an actor, he is just amazing. And then off screen, as a person, he is hilarious. And just seeing that dichotomy of a human who is so brilliant is amazing. I was on FaceTime with my mom, and Peter Dinklage screamed, "Your daughter's rad," which was really cool. Action, romance, snakes. Lucy Gray is a member of a troupe of traveling musicians called the Covey, and they love color. And so she wears her mother's colorful ruffled dress because she knows she's going to get picked at the reaping, and she wants to put on a show for the rest of the districts and for the capital. So really her sense of style, she incorporates snakes, flowers, birds, butterflies, and a lot of color.
2 more days and it's out, which is kind of surreal to be saying, because I kind of, you do these things and you almost never believe that it's ever going to be out there because it's such a labor of love. And this really was that. It was a labor of love with a lot of people that I've come to love. So to kind of give it out into the world feels both, I'm nervous just to like launch it out there because it feels like a baby that I've helped curate. And at the same time, I'm like ready to kind of let other people make it their own. He is 64 years younger for a start, which means he's got a lot of life left to live. He is somewhat more innocent. He is more hopeful. He still has a lot of love to give. He has a family who loves him, who we get to see in the film, kind of through their eyes. Tigris, played by Schafer, and Grandmom, played by Fiona Flanagan. And you get to see what he could have been had he not gone down the darker path. And you get to go down that path with him and see where it takes him. These are people who I've been watching on my movie screens and TV screens for years, who have inspired me a lot to kind of keep going. Seeing Peter in Game of Thrones was, one of those performances where I went, oh, that is acting, and I want to do that. And so to be able to work with him years down the line and work with Viola and Jason equally is just a dream come true. Still kind of can't believe that I get to call them my friends and colleagues and do press with them and have shared like some pretty tough scenes with them and learned a lot. Wild, untamed, and spooky. As an actor, you can't judge your characters too hard, and I think a lot of people are kind of curious as to why Corio was the main character in this book and this film. And for me, it's like a real psychological study into why people do what they do, which is what Suzanne Collins, who wrote the book and has helmed all these movies as well. I think the questions she's asking is big questions about humanity, about love, about life, about conflict, about society as a whole. And for me, it's the real big takeaway is like you can make big, adventurous, exciting films that lots of people go and see and love that also ask the difficult questions about humanity. And that's important to me as an actor and an artist.
It was a great feeling. I mean, it's been about 10 years since I did the Catching Fire film, so it's kind of this nice decade later. And since this film has such a different look, it was nice to kind of do a whole new vision of Pan Am and a whole new vision of like what the districts look like. It's doing a lot of research and also trying to be very conscious about what Suzanne Collins put on the page, having conversations with Francis Lawrence on what his vision is, and then just working with different fabrics and trying to come up with what the dress should look like for me as well. And it was just trying to be respectful to what the rainbow and the ruffles were, but doing my own interpretation of that. And I'm wanting it to be very like authentic and hand painted with a lot of details. I love that Jason Schwartzman did the Academy Rouge, and it's just kind of trickled on and everybody's grabbed onto that. I wanted it to be this really deep saturated red. Uli Hanesh, who was the production designer, with him and Francis, I got to see a lot of the location photos, and I saw it was a very gray and very stone and cement and marble kind of palette. And I love the opportunity using red there, watching this. And to me, in my head, it's like a blood flow, the students going through the campuses. So I was able to use that red, and I wanted the uniforms to be very just androgynous. So everyone wore the same thing, the jacket, the kilt, and the pants for every student. And I wanted it to be a very classic thing, is why I used the kilt, but just kind of giving it a little bit of an edge to lean it into this futuristic feel. The first film I did do with him was Catching Fire, and so since then we've done several things. Slumberland and Red Sparrow are two other films I've done with him that I love. A TV series, C, which we made incredible, really creative costumes, and now I'm back to the Hunger Games with him.